Imagine entering an environment and being instantly noticed, not by extravagant words or gestures, but by your presence. There is something magnetic in people who exude confidence and serenity without having to raise their voice. They do not implore respect, they are also inspired. But how to achieve this level of influence without resorting to excessive impositions or discourses? The answer lies in posture, self-control, and silent force that the great Stoic thinkers dominated centuries ago. Marco Aurelio, Seneca, and Epictetus understood that the true authority comes from self-control and clarity of purpose. The art of imposing itself without words is not on intimidation, but about the inner firmness that naturally convey respect and leadership. If you have already felt that your words are not enough to be taken seriously or always need to explain yourself to gain space, this guide will change your perspective. This is not about talking louder, but about cultivating a presence that speaks for itself. And the best? Anyone can develop this ability as long as they understand the fundamental principles. Throughout this content, you will find out how confidence, posture, and tranquility influence others' perception of you. We will explore the pillars of integrity, self-control, and patience, demonstrating how each contributes to a remarkable and respectable presence. And don't think this comes down to theory. You will find practical insights and examples applicable to your daily life. Small adjustments in the way you behave and position yourself can transform the way the world sees you. After all, powerful silence has more impact than 1,000 empty words. Ready to understand how did the great masters of philosophy use their presence as a tool of influence? Let's start this journey with Stoic wisdom and find out how to impose yourself without saying a single word. Confidence is not about superior opinion, but about knowing its own value. Confident people don't have to prove anything, they only exist safely and authentically. This is reflected in the posture, the way of walking, and even the way of looking at others. Marco Aurelio taught that true power comes from within, not from external validation. When you feel comfortable with yourself, the world realizes. The posture speaks even before you say a word. Shoulders aligned, head raised, and a firm look shows safety and command. Have you noticed how some people get into an environment and automatically draw attention? It is not luck or genetics, it is the way they occupy the space. Training this presence is a way of designing authority without having to force anything. Self-adhesive is the basis of genuine confidence. Insecure people oscillate according to the opinion of others, while those who are clear about their values remain firm. Epictetus said that what really matters is not what happens, but as we react. If you keep calm and act with coherence, it conveys a difficult force to ignore. Tranquility also reinforces confidence. Who speaks too much trying to impose is usually masking insecurity. The well-used silence is a powerful tool. Think of the most influential leaders in history. They didn't shout. They didn't gesture frantically. Serenity and firm posture were enough to gain respect. Authentic presence is a differential. Many try to impress with exaggerated titles, status, or exhibitions, but the real stature comes from those who do not need adornments to be noticed. When you know who you are, the posture conveys this certainty. This has an immediate impact on interactions, making its presence memorable. The secret is daily discipline. Small adjustments in the way you sit, walk, and interact with others make a big difference over time. Practice if you observe in the mirror, record your own posture, or ask for sincere feedback. Physical and emotional self-knowledge is essential for confidence to become natural. In the end, confidence and posture go together. One strengthens the other. And when both are aligned, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. Respect comes spontaneously. But there is an essential detail for this to work: tranquility. After all, confidence without balance becomes arrogance. And that's what we'll talk about. True strength is not in explosive reactions, but in the ability to maintain serenity in the face of challenges. People who despair or lose control easily show fragility, while those who remain calm transmit respect and confidence. Seneca said that inner peace does not mean absence of problems, but the ability to face them with balance. When someone screams, it loses reason. Have you noticed how influential people rarely raise the voice? They do not need. Tranquility imposes respect because it shows that you have control over yourself. Self-control is more impressive than any demonstration of brute strength. In a conflict, the one who keeps calm usually has the advantage. Training this serenity requires discipline. In voltage situations, take a deep breath before reacting. Small seconds of reflection can avoid major regrets. Epictetus taught that we have no control over external events, just how we react to them. And this reaction can determine the course of a whole situation. Tranquility also manifests itself in body language. Controlled movements, a safe look, and accurate gestures convey an aura of domain and confidence. Ample and restless people give the impression of insecurity. Already those who move calmly and purpose seem to have a natural mastery over the environment around them. The practice of strategic silence is one of the greatest allies of tranquility. Instead of hurrying to fill moments of silence, learn to use them to your advantage. Well-placed silence can be more powerful than any argument. He forces others to reflect and creates an atmosphere of respect for them. Another crucial factor to maintain tranquility is resilience. Understand that everything is passing. Both good and bad times help dealing with adversity without despair. Marco Aurelio, in his Meditations, constantly remembered that we must accept events as they are, without useless resistance. This acceptance gives us an immense emotional advantage. In developing this serenity, you become someone whose presence inspires calm and respect. People naturally gravitate around those who transmit security and balance. But to maintain this tranquility genuinely, a fundamental element is required: integrity. After all, no one truly feels at peace when it does not act according to their values. Integrity is not about seeming correct, but about being true to their values regardless of the situation. When your actions are aligned with what you believe, your presence becomes stronger and more authentic. Full people don't have to prove anything to anyone. They speak for themselves. As an Epictetus said, "Don't say it's a good man, be one." Credibility comes from consistency. It's no use talking about respect and acting unfairly. Those who change as convenience conveys instability and insecurity. Have you noticed how respected leaders follow firm principles, even under pressure? They know that integrity builds authority. Respect is not required, it is conquered by consistency. Being intact also means knowing how to say no. Many people give in to social pressure for fear of displeasing, but in the long run, this wears your own identity. Staying true to your values may be difficult at the moment, but it strengthens your confidence and the way others perceive you. Integrity is a commitment to yourself. Silent honesty is a powerful tool. There is no need to self-promote or announce your morality. Their daily actions demonstrate their character. Marco Aurelio did not need to scream that it was fair. His posture and decisions showed that. True respect comes from those who act correctly, even when no one is looking. Integrity and inner peace go together. Those who live on appearances are always restless, concerned about the opinion of others. Already those who follow their values sleep quietly. Seneca said that a clean consciousness is the best pillow. You will never feel truly safe if you are cheating on your own principles. But being whole does not mean being adamant. Humility to recognize errors and learn from them is also part of integrity. People who pretend to be always certain lose credibility quickly. Already those who assume their failures and seek to improve demonstrate strength and maturity. Excessive pride destroys, but authenticity builds. By developing your integrity, you become a point of reference to others. People seek to get closer to those who can trust, and confidence leads to influence. But to maintain this influence lasting, something even deeper is essential: self-control. Because without it, even the best values can be committed to momentary impulses. Mastering yourself is true power. Many people believe that strength is imposing wills over others, but the great leaders have always knew that true authority comes from self-control. Epictetus taught that we cannot control the external world, but we can rule our reactions. Who can remain calm and rational under pressure automatically stands out. Reacting impulsively is a sign of weakness. People who easily explode or make hasty decisions show that they have no control over themselves. In the heat of the moment, wrong words can destroy relationships, and thoughtless attitudes can create irreversible problems. Self-control allows you to make wise decisions and avoid regrets. Patience and strategic silence are powerful allies of self-control. When confronted, the best answer is not always immediate. Often a break before reacting changes all the dynamics of the situation. The person who keeps calm while others lose their balance automatically assume control of interaction. Stoicism teaches how to deal with emotions without being dominated by them. This does not mean repressing them, but understanding and directing them useful. Seneca said that we should observe our emotions as a viewer watches a play with conscience, but unlucky by the plot. Training this inner look strengthens the mind. Self-control also applies to daily habits. Discipline in food, sleep, and work routine builds a solid character. If you can't say no to small impulses, how will it resist great temptations? Consistency in small choices strengthens your controllability in more challenging situations. Practicing emotional distancing in times of tension helps to avoid regret. Before acting on impulse, ask yourself, if I look at this situation in a year, will this reaction still make sense? This simple question already reduces impulsive reactions and expands clarity. The power to decide how to react is one of the biggest signs of maturity. By mastering your emotions and impulses, you convey security. People who are not easily shaken become references of stability. But for this self-control to have real impact, it is essential to combine it with something equally powerful: presence. Because being in control without being present at the moment weakens all its influence. Being present is more than just being physically in one place. It is fully conscious and connected to the moment. In today's world, where attention is constantly disputed by screens and distractions, A truly present person stands out immediately. Studies show that almost half of the time our mind rambling, and the Stoics already taught the importance of total focus on the now. When you are 100 present in a conversation, people feel. Look in the eyes, actively listen, and answer with intention creates a deep connection. Have you noticed how some people make you feel like the only one in the environment? This is no chance. It is the power of presence. When you learn to master this, your influence grows naturally. Full attention generates respect. Nothing conveys more disinterest than an absent mind. How many times have you talked to someone who seemed more concerned about the phone than the interaction? The opposite is also true when someone feels genuinely heard. A bond of respect and confidence is instantly forms. Body language reinforces its presence. Maintain a firm posture, controlled gestures, and a watchful look communicates that you are truly there. People who move too much or avoid eye contact show restlessness and insecurity. Already those who occupy their space calmly transmit confidence without saying a word. Focus and presence go together. Training your concentration capacity improves your influence and decision-making. Marco Aurelio practiced the habit of directing his attention to what was before him, without being carried away by distractions. In everyday life, small practices such as conscious breathing and active observation help to strengthen this skill. Silence can be a great ally of presence. We often want to fill in every moment with words, but the great communicators know the value of the breaks. The well-placed silence generates impact, conveys dominion and strength. There is no need for haste. Those who are comfortable with silence demonstrate absolute control over themselves and the environment. When you dominate the art of being present, your energy changes. You become a magnetic someone whose attention is valuable. But this presence is only complete when it comes with something fundamental: humility. After all, there is no point in imposing yourself in the environment if you are not willing to learn from it. True strength does not need display. Really secure people feel no need to prove anything to anyone. Humility does not mean slowing down, but recognizing that there is always something to learn. Epictetus said that it is impossible to learn what you think you already know. The more you open to knowledge, the stronger you become. To be humble is to understand that no one reaches the top alone. Even the greatest leaders in history have had mentors, learning, and failures on the way. Arrogance removes opportunities, while humility creates genuine connections. Those who respect each other's journey and know how to recognize their own limitations become admired and reliable. Humility is a shield against insecurity. Many try to compensate their weaknesses with arrogance, but this strategy is a shot in the foot. People who feel obliged to demonstrate superiority are usually masking internal insecurities. Already those who accept their vulnerabilities and continue learning convey authentic confidence. Knowing how to listen is one of the biggest signs of humility. Instead of monopolizing conversations or always seeking to be the center of attention, learn to value the words of others. Great leaders don't speak all the time, they ask questions and absorb knowledge. Silence attentive can be more powerful than any speech. Excessive ego is an obstacle to growth. If you believe you already know everything, automatically close your doors for new learning opportunities. Marco Aurelio, even being an emperor, constantly reviewed his actions and thoughts, always seeking to evolve. Maintaining this apprentice spirit is a powerful differential. Humility and respect go together. Treating all people with dignity, regardless of status or position, demonstrates a solid character. Those who respect others naturally achieve respect in return. The true leader need not demand recognition, he receives him for his attitudes. A humble but firm presence is irresistible. You don't have to shrink to be humble, nor do you need to show off to be respected. The combination of safety and opening to learning creates a powerful influence. But for this to work in the long run, there is an essential element: patience. Because true growth does not happen overnight. Patience is the virtue of those who understand that everything has their time. In today's accelerated world, where everyone wants immediate results, being patient is a powerful differential. True growth requires time and consistency. Like bamboo, which spends years strengthening its roots before growing visibly. Lasting success is built internally before manifesting externally. Impulsivity is enemy of patience. Anyone who acts for anxiety often makes hasty decisions and then repents. Those who know how to wait better, analyze situations more clearly, and make smarter choices. Epictetus taught that it is necessary to accept the natural rhythm of things and not try to force what is not under our control. Patience is also a demonstration of strength. Many confuse calm with weakness, but reality is the opposite. Keeping the composure in the midst of difficulties requires an internal domain that few have. While most despair of obstacles, patients face them with balance and strategy, ensuring better results. In relationships, patience avoids unnecessary conflicts. Many discussions happen because people want immediate answers or instant reactions. Anyone who practices patience knows the value of taking a deep breath before responding. A well-placed silence and a break before reacting can completely transform the dynamics of a situation. Developing patience requires training. Small daily challenges, such as waiting without traffic irritation or accepting that some goals take time, strengthen this skill. Marco Aurelio remembered that nature is in a hurry, and yet everything happens in the right time. If even the universe operates with patience, why should we be different? Being patient does not mean being passive. It is acting with strategy and conscience, without allowing haste to disturb the journey. Great achievements do not happen overnight. Who knows how to wait and prepare until the right moment is not enough, builds a solid foundation for the future. Patience allows to see beyond immediate. And with this enlarged view, you develop an essential quality: gratitude. Because when we learn to value the process, we realize that each phase, even the difficult ones, has a purpose and strengthens us for what comes next. Gratitude is not just a feeling, but a posture of life. When you learn to value what you already have, it comes to live with more lightness and security. Stoics taught that true wealth is no longer in accumulating, but in knowing how to appreciate the present. Marco Aurelio wrote that happiness depends less on what happens and more on how we interpret life. Being grateful does not mean accommodation. Many people confuse gratitude with conformity, but they are actually different things. Enjoying what you have now does not prevent you from seeking growth. On the contrary, it strengthens its mindset to move on with more clarity and motivation. without being dominated by the anxiety of the future. Gratitude changes your energy and the way others perceive you. People who complain all the time convey a negative vibration and end up departing opportunities. Already those who show appreciation for what they have created a more positive environment around and attract healthier connections. Seneca said that a grateful mind transforms any situation into something valuable. Practicing gratitude daily strengthens resilience. Instead of focusing on what is missing, focus on what is already within your reach. Writing 3 things you are grateful every day can transform your mindset over time. Small perspective changes have a huge impact on the way we deal with challenges. The habit of gratitude also strengthens patience. When you learn to value every phase of your growth, it is easier to respect the time of things. Great achievements are built on a basis of recognition and continuous learning. Who is grateful along the way does not despair to reach the destination. Gratitude and humility walk together. Recognizing the people who helped you, valuing learning, and taking nothing as guaranteed are signs of maturity. Epictet remembered that no one is done alone. There is something or someone who contributed to our journey. Recognize this strengthens ties and opens even more doors. The constant practice of gratitude creates a strong and serene presence. But for this force to manifest even more powerfully, one must understand a crucial factor: nonverbal expression. After all, much of what we communicate is not in words, but in the way we present ourselves to the world. More than half of human communication happens without words. What you say is important, but how you introduce yourself and move transmits much more than you think. Studies indicate that 55% of our communication is nonverbal. Facial expressions, gestures, and even silence directly impact the way others perceive you. Posture is one of the strongest signs of trust and self-control. Aligned shoulders, raised head, and controlled movements transmit safety. Already a fallen posture, low look, or excessive gestures indicate insecurity. Just look at natural leaders. They do not need to scream or move exaggerately to be noticed. The presence already imposes respect. Viewing is a powerful tool. Looking into someone's eyes when speaking shows firmness and authenticity. But there is a difference between looking with confidence and facing in an intimidating way. Balance is in naturalness. Sustain the look without forcing, respecting the rhythm of the conversation. People who constantly look away give the impression of doubt or hesitation. Controlled gestures reinforce credibility. Sudden or restless movements can convey nervousness, while calm and accurate gestures show that you have mastery of the situation. Great speakers use their hands strategically to emphasize what they say, but without exaggeration. The secret is the harmony between naturalness and intention. Well-used silence is one of the most powerful forms of nonverbal expression. Often the best answer is not an immediate word, but a well-placed break. Silence forces others to pay attention and gives weight to their words. People who know how to be silent at the right time show control and maturity. Breathing is also part of your presence. Breathing calmly and deeply helps maintain a firm and safe tone of voice. Those who speak too fast or hold breath during conversations can convey anxiety. Conscious breathing techniques, such as diaphragmatic breathing, help to design more effortlessly. Mastering nonverbal expression makes your communication more impactful, even without having to say much. His presence becomes striking, his posture conveys respect, and his silence carries influence. But to consolidate all this in a practical way, it is essential to understand one last element: number-based insights, which reinforce how minor communication adjustments turn their perception into the world. Effective communication is not just an art, she is supported by concrete data. Studies on human behavior show that minor adjustments in the way we express ourselves can have a gigantic impact on the way we are perceived. When we understand these numbers, we can apply strategic changes to enhance our presence and influence. Research indicates that 55% of communication is nonverbal, 38% is the tone of voice, and only 7% corresponds to the words said. This means that your posture, look, and gestures matter much more than you think. Effective leaders are not those who speak more, but those who know how to control their body language and convey safety effortlessly. Proper eye contact can increase credibility by up to 75%. People who keep a firm and balanced look at speaking are perceived as more reliable and influential. Already those who look at the look often give an impression of hesitation and insecurity. The secret is in the naturalness sustain the look without seeming artificial or intimidating. Silence also has a measurable impact. A study on persuasive communication showed that strategic breaks before an answer increase intelligence perception by up to 20%. This is because a well-placed silence demonstrates emotional control and confidence. When you avoid impulsive answers, people value your words more. Patience and self-control are also reinforced by data. A Stanford University study revealed that children who were able to expect to receive a bigger reward in the famous marshmallow test had a greater success in adulthood. The ability to postpone momentary impulses is directly linked to the development of discipline and resilience. In the corporate world, leaders who speak less, but more accurately, are 40% more likely to be promoted to strategic positions. This reinforces the concept that a lean and straightforward discourse conveys more authority than long explanations. People who dominate the art of powerful silence are perceived as more competent and safe. These numbers show that small changes in the way you position yourself and express yourself can transform your influence and presence. But none of this will have an effect if it is not applied in practice. The big question now is, how will you start implementing this knowledge in your daily life? Throughout this content, we explore the pillars of silent confidence and wordless influence. Posture, self-control, tranquility, and presence are powerful tools that shape how you are perceived. The big Stoic masters already knew it's not what you say, but the way you lead to define your impact on the world. Now, the essential question: how will you apply this knowledge to your life? Small adjustments in your daily life can now generate significant changes. How can you improve your posture to convey more security? How can you exercise strategic silence to increase your influence? How can you train patience to make wiser decisions? Remember, the true change happens in practice. Choose a Stoic principle and apply it consciously during the week. Note how people react to your new posture. Test the power of the firm look, the well-placed silence, the genuine presence. You will see that you do not need to lift your voice to be heard. The world belongs to those who dominate themselves. And if you have gotten here, it is already one step ahead of the majority. The art of imposing itself without words is not an innate talent, but an ability developed with discipline and conscience. The transformation begins now. Did you like this content? Then subscribe to the channel and enable notifications to continue this journey of evolution. Because here, every detail makes a difference. We see each other in the next video.